Hey everybody, I'm Kevin,
And I'm Jessica, and we're Interstate Explorers.
and in today's video we're talking about one of the upgrades that we're making to the Brinkley, and we're installing a bidet. So when it comes to RV toilets, there's basically two schools of thought. And these two schools are very polarizing because you're either in one camp or you're in the other camp. And basically, it's those of us that use the RV toilets and those of us that don't use the RV toilets and use the campground toilets instead. We are in the school of thought that we use our RV toilet because we bought it and we want to use it, and we'd rather go to the bathroom in our RV rather than at the campsite. So, with the RV toilet, as many experienced RVers I'm sure are aware, and if you're a new RVer, you're going to be aware soon, toilet paper and RV toilets don't always go well together because you have to buy the super thin stuff. It's expensive, it's thin, so it doesn't last very long. And if you buy thick toilet paper, then we're going to be clogged. And believe me, we've had clogged RV toilets. It is no fun, and we definitely do not want that. So, one thing that we installed into our RV toilet was a bidet, and we installed the bidet as a way to save on toilet paper so we don't have to use so much of that thin, expensive RV toilet paper. So let's go ahead and take a look at this bidet setup that we did, because it was a little bit complicated and we had to buy a number of additional parts and do a number of additional plumbing that did not come in the original bidet that we bought. So let's go check it out. Okay, so here's our RV toilet right here with the bidet already installed. The bidet that we bought was a Brondell Bidet, and we just bought this off of Amazon. And the reason why we bought this bidet is because it's flat. We did not have to install a new toilet seat or anything like that. This just kind of slips nicely underneath the toilet. So as you can see, it's just right there. There it is, and then the spout comes out. So it's nice and flat and no bulky toilet seat there. Now, with the bidet, installing it was a little bit tricky because what they gave us to install the bidet did not actually work with our RV toilets, so we had to get a little bit creative with some of this stuff. So what we did, and we're going to hope that we can see this back here, is we have PEX piping. And I want to just say that I know nothing about plumbing, and I still know nothing about plumbing. I'm definitely not a plumber. And so I've been learning about this stuff for the first time. So this is PEX pipe. This blue tubing is PEX pipe. And PEX piping is not usually found in home toilets, in my experience. If you want to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, please go ahead. Like I said, I know very little about plumbing. So this is PEX piping, and the original setup was, as you can see, this T-joint. That T-joint was not there, and the PEX pipe just went all the way through, and then it hooked to the back of the toilet. Now, what we had to do is we had to cut the PEX pipe. We had to install this T-joint, and this T-joint is what's called a shark bite, and it's a push-to-connect joint, meaning that we just had to push those two parts together. When we installed it, though, you need to make sure that your cut is exact and that it's flat and it's straight. So after we cut it, I had to use sandpaper to sand it down to make sure that everything was flush, because the first time I turned it on, it was not flush and water sprayed everywhere. After that, I bought PEX piping, some additional PEX piping, and as you can see on the T, it comes up. So I had to buy that at the hardware store. Luckily, PEX pipe is pretty cheap. And then I had to install a 1/2-inch shark bite connector, and that's a 1/2-inch male screw on the other side. And then that screws into this line, this faucet line, which then goes to the underside of the bidet, just like that. And that's how I got the bidet to work. This took a lot of trial and error. It took me probably about 5 days in total to do, between working and many trips to the hardware store, but I finally got it figured out. So if you're going to install a bidet on your Brinkley, you're just going to need to make sure that you're a little bit familiar with PEX pipe. There's a lot of good YouTube videos on there. And just make sure that everything is flush and that you really push the connection points together. And also, one final thing, if you decide to do this, once you cut the PEX pipe, there's no turning back. So make sure you're fully committed with everything that you're going to need, because once you cut it, then your toilet stops working until you get it figured out. Okay, that's our video on our RV toilet and the bidet that we installed. So we'd like to hear from you. Did you install a bidet in your RV? Did you install a bidet in your Brinkley? Are you thinking about it? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? So we want to hear from you in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe so that you can be up to date with all of our latest content.